Hi boys and girls, welcome to lesson 12, Read Aloud. We are going to be reading and learning a bit about mammals today. So we're going to do these in our live session, but here are some riddles that you can take a look at. You can start thinking about these for the meet, and we're going to learn about the mammals in these riddles. So maybe you can come back to this at the end and see if you know what they're talking about, which mammal it is. So in today's lesson, we're going to be focusing on comparing and contrasting, which is right there in the center with an apple and an orange. Signal words that we use when we are comparing and contrasting are similar, same, alike, both, as well as. Those are what words we use to compare, to show how something is alike or similar. Words to show contrasting, how things are different, are unlike, as opposed to, on the other hand, in contrast, or instead. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit today throughout our reading. So here we go. Well, boys and girls, it's me, Rattenborough, back again. Today we're going to talk about a group of animals that you already know a little something about, based on your own personal experience. Hilda Hippo is one of these, and I am one of these. Remember our mnemonic, all my best friends represent vertebrates? Yes, the letter M in the word my stands for mammals. And guess what? You are mammals too. Who can name some characteristics of mammals? In what ways are you like Hilda and me? What keen observations you make. Yes, we are warm-blooded vertebrates with hair. I think you could help me teach this lesson. Let's begin with the name of this group, mammals. It comes from the Latin word mammalia. Say that with me, mammalia. The word mammalia refers to a group of animals who have mammary glands. Mammary glands are milk-producing organs belonging to female mammals. When female, girls, mammals give birth, they secrete a nourishing substance, milk, to feed their young. That is one of the primary characteristics of mammals. We feed our young milk. That's right. Rats drink mother's milk. Hippopotami drink mother's milk, and so do humans. The mother's milk has all the nourishment that a baby needs. Mammals have backbones. Reach around and check out your back once more to make sure your backbone is still there. Of course it is. Without backbones, we wouldn't be able to sit up straight or hold our heads in the air. And our spinal cords that house the nerves that send messages to our brains would be unprotected. So because we all have backbones, scientists call us what? Yes, we are all vertebrates. Reptiles, amphibians, and fish all have a relatively low metabolism, and as you have learned, are classified as cold-blooded animals. Like birds, mammals, such as the horse you see here, have a high metabolism, burning lots of energy to help them maintain a constant internal body temperature. What is the term that taxonomists use to classify mammals in terms of body temperature? Yes, we are all warm-blooded. So, on activity book 12.2, you want to get that out. Several things that we're going to be writing the main ideas from two different texts. The one on the left where you see I have things filled in already is this read aloud that we're doing together. So on the left side of the chart where I have written, you're going to write the notes that I have. So pause the video and write those notes down just as I have written them. Now let's take a look at the text structure. So we have the sentence, like birds, mammals, such as this horse, have a high metabolism. What is the compare and contrast signal word in this sentence? It's like. How is this word used to compare birds to mammals? It tells us that birds and mammals have a high metabolism. It's comparing, telling us how they are similar. Let's keep going. One of you was right when you said that mammals are covered in hair or fur. Some of us are hairier than others. Hilda hippo and other hippopotamuses don't look so hairy, do they? But you might remember that they do have a little bit of hair around their mouths and on the tips of their ears and tails. Let's take a look at a few of our furrier friends so you can see in those little goggles there the hair on their mouth. Cute. Here's one of my favorite mammals. I love his stately long neck and envy his ability to reach high into trees to eat leaves and to see into the distance. I'll bet that if I were as tall as a giraffe, I could spot my enemies more quickly. Does anyone know what this other animal is? It's a yak. Yaks need their shaggy hair and dense woolly undercoats to help keep them warm on the cold Tibetan plateau where they live. Tigers and leopards have fur. Look at this Bengal tiger and this beautiful snow leopard of Central Asia. Both of these cat species are on the list of endangered species, a list of animals whose numbers have dwindled due to the loss of habitats and overhunting. So let's take a look at this. Both of these cat species are on the list of endangered species. What is the compare or contrast signal word in this sentence? It is both. And how do we use this word to compare two species of cats? It's telling us that they are both on the list of endangered species. It's telling us how they are alike. Does anyone know what this is? It's a marmot, a type of squirrel. And here's another type of squirrel, a flying squirrel. These squirrels don't really fly, but they have two folds of skin on the sides of their bodies that let them take great leaps, gliding through the air with the help of their tails for steering. The only mammals that can truly fly are bats. They have skin between their long fingers that stretches out, turning their arms into wings when they open. Bats may seem like birds, however, they are not because they have no feathers. They actually have a fine fur and they give birth to live young. Let's take a look at this one. Bats may seem like birds, however, they are not because they have no feathers. What is the compare and contrast signal word in this sentence? It's however, and this word is used to tell how bats are different from birds. Most, but not all, mammals are terrestrial, meaning that they live on land. Can anyone think of an aquatic mammal, a mammal that lives in water? I'll give you a hint. One of them is my friend Hilda. Ah, yes. Hippopotami love the water, but they are actually semi-aquatic, meaning that they live partly in water and partly on land. Usually, Hilda and other hippopotami stand in the water during the day to keep cool. Then they graze on land when evening falls. Whales are marine mammals, meaning that they live in the ocean. The blue whale is not only the largest mammal, but it is also the largest animal on Earth. That's this one right here, the blue whale. Blue whales can grow up to 100 feet long. That's a little longer than a basketball court. Its tongue alone weighs more than 3 tons. Imagine that. Manatees and smaller whales such as dolphins and porpoises are also fully aquatic marine animals. They share saltwater seas with walruses and seals, semi-aquatic animals that like to wander on shore just like Hilda Hippo does. Marine mammals are believed by many scientists to have evolved from land mammals, and they share many of the same characteristics. They are warm-blooded, they have backbones and fur or hair, even though sometimes it is the tiniest amount of hair, and they breathe oxygen from the air. Remember when we talked about how fish use gills to breathe in oxygen from the water? Remember how in amphibians those gills developed into lungs, requiring amphibians to come to the surface of the water to breathe air? Well, mammals also have lungs. All mammals have lungs and an underlying diaphragm that assists breathing. When the diaphragm tightens, it creates more space in the lung cavity and air is drawn into the lungs. All mammals, including whales and porpoises, dolphins and manatees, must come to the surface of the water now and then to breathe. So let's go ahead and write down terrestrial, and they have lungs. So terrestrial, if you remember, means they live mostly on land. Terrestrial means land, they live on land. And all mammals have lungs. Some mammals also live in fresh water. I want to introduce you to another semi-aquatic relative of mine. This is a capybara. He, like me, is classified as a rodent and likes to swim. So, he, like me, is classified as a rodent and likes to swim. The compare and contrast signal word here is like. And it's comparing, showing how Rattenborough is like the capybara and that they like to swim. So it's showing how they are alike. The duck-billed platypus is unusual. That's the last picture on here. It is one of only a few mammals that lay eggs. Spiny anteaters, also natives to Australia and nearby islands, are the only other egg-laying mammals. All other mammals are live-bearing, which means they give birth to live young. The young are nourished inside the mother's body, and most are fully developed when they are born, looking like smaller versions of their parents. A few, like kangaroos and possums, are part of a group of mammals called marsupials. Marsupial babies are very underdeveloped when they are born, but they move directly to the mother's protective pouch to be nourished by her milk. All mammals, whether hatched from eggs or born live, feed on the mother's milk in their infancy. Remember, learning that birds' beaks may provide clues to their diet? The same is true of mammals' mouths. Wide mouths and sharp, pointed teeth suggest that these mammals may be carnivorous. Wolves, whales, and bats are all carnivorous. Remember, that means they eat meat. Herbivores are more likely to have long jaws, long tongues, and flat teeth. Deer, sheep, monkeys, and pandas are all herbivores. Omnivorous mammals include bears, possums, chipmunks, and mice, which means they eat both. Many humans are omnivores, but humans think about the choices they make about what to eat. Omnivores generally have sharper front teeth and flat teeth for chewing in the back of their mouths. Think about your mouth. Do you think humans were designed to eat meat, only plants, or both meats and plants? Next time, we'll look at the last of my slides. Be ready for a review of the 5 vertebrate groups of the animal kingdom: amphibians, mammals, birds, fish, and reptiles. I'm sure you are becoming quite skilled at classifying animals, and we'll get to have some fun with doing just that. So let's add one more thing to our chart here. And the last thing is that they feed on mother's milk. And I'm actually going to add one more thing here. Live young. They give birth to live young. So the babies are born and they basically look like small versions of their parents. So there you go. Go back and listen to any part of it that you need to. And in the next reading for this lesson, we're going to fill in the chart for mammals for our reading from the reader. See you soon.